Welcome to Meaningful Mondays with the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, where we only know good people who do great things in our community. Whether you are a volunteer, a donor, or a nonprofit organization, each episode of Meaningful Mondays will celebrate you, our friends and neighbors who have a deep passion for and commitment to improving the quality of life for all in Middlesex County. So let's kick off the week with great conversations with remarkable people, businesses, and nonprofits making a difference right in our own backyard. All right. Well, happy Monday, everyone. It's always a wonderful Monday in Middlesex County, but every day in Middlesex County is fabulous, and today is no exception, and the sun may be shining all the time because we have our rock star of Middlesex County, Larry McHugh, with us. Larry, thanks so much for taking time from your schedule to be with us.
Honored to be here.
Oh my gosh. So if anyone doesn't know you, we're going to run through quickly all of your many accomplishments, but just so that you know, we're doing a series of podcasts on the payback of giving back. And we've had some wonderful conversations with leaders throughout the county who have been really very thoughtful about why they give back in whatever way, shape, or form they do. So that's really the main theme of what we're doing. But let's just start with your history, sir. So from coach to chamber to board chair of the Connecticut State University System, and then board chair of UConn. And now happy to say that you're on our board as well. So give us some highlights of all the great things that you've done throughout your illustrious career.
Well, I think a lot of things as I was thinking about doing this podcast today was going back all the way back into my coaching career. And a lot of that started, and I think people as they get older, they should look back on why they had success or failure or whatever it has been. And I think that as I look back, I think it was decision points, major decisions that I made. And those decision points, although in some cases might have been controversial, in some cases, they were the correct ones. And to give you an example, when I got released from the New York Titans very, very late in August, right before the first game of the year, because I had gotten banged up a little bit, I made a decision to take a teaching job in Durham in general science, 7th, 8th grade science, and not take a phys ed job that was offered to me in Danbury. And from that, I met Wally Camp, who then brought me involved in high school athletics, not in football, but he introduced me to many, many people in athletics. And then from that, the parish priest in Durham was the big supporter of me for the Xavier job. And then I had made a decision at that point that I wasn't, because I originally was going back and play professional football the next year. My contract was bigger. And I decided I was going to be a fringe player, and I definitely will go into coaching. And the same thing happened with the coaching situation as I morphed through 21 great years at Xavier, dealing with a lot of good kids, a lot of parents. I had a couple of times in there, one of which when they moved me out of the classroom into raising money for the schools. Mercy and Xavier had severe financial difficulties in the 70s. They were either going to close both or close one. And we had to go out and raise some substantial money, which we did do. And that got me into the business community. So as we moved later, another decision point came when my first wife died very young, and I had 3 young boys. That another decision was going to have to be made as far as coaching or moving into a sector where I could probably make more money. And that was the decision to take the chamber job. And that would not have happened if I hadn't moved into, MX Corporation. And then from there, here we go. So that's it.
Oh my gosh. But what fascinates me when you're talking is all the connecting of the dots and all of the people that you met and networked with, and weaving all of those together, not only for the benefit of the community, but also for the benefit of the career. So at those decision points, Larry, was there a guiding principle that led you, or was each decision based on a unique situation?
I think it was based on, like decisions are a lot on kind of a gut reaction.
Yeah.
Was I knew that in coaching, no matter what, with my wife passing away, I still, in the back of my mind, wanted to watch my kids play college football. And two of my mentors, older coaches, said the worst things they did, and they wish they could have rectified, was not watching their kids go on to play college because they didn't have the time because they were still coaching. And that was Ray Tellier and Ted Nurk. And that was always in the back of my mind as I was going to make a decision. If my kids were going on to play college football, I
Right.
wanted to watch them. And then on top of that, you make these decisions, and there's always a backup along the way of why and who did what to help you along the way. And I think I've been very, very fortunate. I had great coaches. I had a teacher in high school. I was not the greatest student. I would imagine a lot of them at Notre Dame and West Haven are turning over their graves when I became chair of UConn's board. Uh,
Ah,
but I had one brother at Notre Dame that took an interest in me. He was an algebra teacher and really helped me out immensely in high school, and I owe a lot to him. So I think that as time goes by, you have decision points, you have people that you meet that have you make decisions that hopefully are good decisions. And as I look back, 86 years back, or 85 years, I don't question any of the decisions. I think they were good ones. And the other thing which I wanted to get out is that I surrounded myself always with people like Cynthia Clegg,
oh, well, you're very kind, but
positive, positive people,
mm,
positive people. And that's what we find here in Middlesex County. The vast majority of the people are positive. The vast majority of the people want to make a difference. The vast majority of people will live here and work here, and they want this area to be pristine and good for everybody. And that is why I think that the community foundation is so, so important, because you have all givers on that. There are no takers. And I congratulate you for moving that forward like that.
well, you're very kind, but let's talk about the people and right back at you, Larry, because I've always said you've been our biggest cheerleader, even when you weren't on the board, and you've always encouraged us. And I think everyone needs that positivity. And I'll go back to your other comment about trusting your gut. My mother always said, trust your gut, it'll be okay. Everything works out. But in listening to you, it's the people that really matter the most to you. And how do you deal with those people that are negative? I mean, you always have a good verb or phrase to come out with if you're faced with a challenge.
I surround myself totally with positive people. Those negative people are so negative that when they get up in the morning, you can give them the best breakfast in the world. They're going to be complaining about the sugar or sweet and low, whatever it is. There are people like that. And those are the type of people that really can drag down you, and worse still, can drag down your organization that you have. So that's why it's so, so important that you always surround yourself with positive people, work with the negative people, but show them that they will not drag you down. And I think that is the most important thing. And that's why, I mean, I think people are gravitating towards the Community Foundation Board, is because you got good, positive people. And there's no negative people there. I mean, and when they want to make suggestions, it's suggestions that is going to be good for everybody, not just for themselves.
Exactly. It's the I'll use my phrase, the payback of giving back is that there's a solution for, to me anyway, for the good of the entire community. Now, Larry, education is a theme that runs through your life. So, and I know you have a scholarship at the Chamber in honor of your mom. So, why is education so important to you?
Well, it gave me the opportunity to meet some very dedicated teachers through high school, and also dedicated professors at the college rank. And when I got out of coaching, I wanted to stay somewhat close to teaching, to education. And Governor Grassel appointed me at that point to an advisory board. And then from that, Governor O'Neill appointed me to the Connecticut State University system. And then, every governor after that appointed me to another term and or chair of CSU or the chair of UConn. But that is the same thing because when you gear through things, there's a lot of decisions you got to make. You got to make decisions. Sometimes they're tough decisions, but you got to make them and go forward. But you always got to have that positive attitude.
Mhm.
And as a volunteer chair, you got to get out in front of the paid staff when the proverbial crap hits the wall, that you're the one that has to take it, because that is the most important thing. I think board chairs tend to think they get into some jobs that, for the prestige of it, which is there, but there's always aggravation, and you got to help out staff. And that's the key. And you touched on this. Very seldom do we give the staff a pat on the back. They all understand that, but staff does 90% of the work, and we should be the cheerleaders with maybe one or two ideas to go forward with.
But
That
you
that
are always, always, always. And I saved every little note that you sent me. They're in my what I call my love basket. It's right on my desk. And anytime I get anything like that, it's saved. So if I'm ever having a down day, which is not really often, I can pick those up. So you're very kind in terms of saying thank you and please and patting the staff on the back, because you're right, they don't get the thanks. They usually, the chair or the board members will get the majority of the thanks.
because what you do is what I had done. You praise your staff. Praise both your staff, but you go over the top praising the board people, which they should be praised because
Oh,
they're volunteers and they give up all of their time and energy and money.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
and I think that's very important that you praise volunteers.
Well, and I have to praise my staff because they're smarter than me and they keep me on the right track. So, and we have the best staff ever, as you all have at the chamber. So we're very fortunate. But in your 39 years at the chamber, you rebuilt so many things. I mean, Middletown, and you've expanded the division network within Middlesex County. Is there any highlight that sticks out to you about your work at the chamber?
When I got the job, and I got into the finances of the chamber was at the bottom of the heap in the community. They had gone down to like 250 or 60 members. They were severely in debt that I had not known. But so what I did was go out and see all the key members that dropped out and find out what we needed to get them back and what we had to do. And it came down to, the only thing they were doing was raising money all the time. They weren't doing anything else because they had to raise money to keep it going.
Right.
And the chamber never made decisions. So, you got to start making decisions. So then I went back to the board and I said, look, here's what we got to do. We got to get involved in planning and zoning issues. We got to do a lot of stuff. Now, take this from me. I knew nothing about business when I got the job. Zero. I knew how to raise money because in the MX Corporation, that's what I did. And Buzzy Levine had the quote to some of our illustrious people in the community when I was hired, and they came up to him as, how could you hire him? He's just a football coach. And Buzzy's reaction was, he might be just a football coach, but he can raise money, and we need
There
the
you
money
go.
more than anything else at this
There
point.
you go. There you
And
go.
so I had to learn from Vanny Amato, Buzzy Levine, Bob Byrne, Enza Cubetta, Arlene Mazzata. There were so many people that rallied around me in the business community that I leaned totally on them. Kathy Talevi. So there were people out there that I learned from them. And it was like a quick learn because they were always there. And I made some statements in the beginning about we're going to do this and that. And they saw me afterwards very nicely. Said, "Oh, geez, we really can't do this or that." We're an organization. And then Jerry Dench had me and talked to me, and Woody, who was on your board and just passed away. I used to go to lunch with them every month or so. But Derry, I was close to Derry, and Derry had this vision for Middletown: a theater, an inn, more restaurants, more kind of economic development type of stuff. And Woody was the main driver in the office, and Derry had these things. And so a lot of the stuff that we got was from Derry Dench, going out and going down to New Jersey and getting the theaters to come up here. Mike Cubetta and did a great job on the police building committee, bringing a restaurant in with Maria Holzberg as the mayor at that time. And the other thing I wanted to do and did was that I felt that we had to have a team effort the same as we do in coaching. And the team effort was the staff of the chamber were the coaches, and all of the rest of the businesses were our players. And you win with players, you don't win with coaches, and you let them take some leadership and also to jump on board on stuff, and then you go forward following it up. And we were really, really fortunate that we had good mayors, good councils back then that recognized in order for a community to move forward, they had to dedicate themselves to making some other decisions, and that business people were very, very important ingredients. Business people really never ask for much. They're always out there giving because you know what? They're too busy. They're too busy trying to make every paycheck go in some cases.
Right.
And so, you got to do stuff for them, and then they'll do stuff for you. And that was part of it. And I'm so honored that I had so many people that really had my back, especially the first 3 or 4 years where.
Well, I love hearing the names. I've been here almost 18 years. And so most of the names that you mentioned, I do know, and they were true champions. But the one thing that at listening to you,
art director is the other one too.
Oh my gosh, art director. And aren't we so fortunate that on our board, we now have the third generation of the director family continuing to give back in different ways. We are so fortunate.
Right.
But as you were talking and mentioning all the people and the team effort of everyone, the thing that struck me, and I keep on thinking about with you, Larry, it's the we before me always. And that's such a simple phrase and only, 2-letter words. If you reverse them, there are lots of other stuff would happen. But thank you for always putting the we before me.
Well, I think it's important because you can't do it alone. And if you do it alone, you're going to fall.
No, absolutely. So I have the big question, because it is, and every time I ask this question of all of our business, and they have been business leaders and some nonprofit leaders, what do you think is the payback of giving back? And what advice would you give to business leaders or anyone about giving back?
The other day I was at a wake down in Madison, and this kid, he's in his 60s. He came up to me. He said, "Coach, thank you." And I said, "For what?" He said, "For supporting me." You probably don't even remember when it was, back when I was a junior in high school. And I've leaned on so many of the things that you taught on the playing field, but also in the classroom. And it made it easier for me to make decisions and to go forward. I told Patty after that, I said, and then another guy came up to me and the same thing. It was just like a couple of days. And these were guys that weren't are big stars or anything like that. They're, good kids. And that to me is the most important thing. And you'll get that as you volunteer and you do stuff. There will be somebody that's going to come up and say, thanks. Thanks for making our community a better community for everybody. I mean, our chamber got involved in drug and alcohol, and that was a push to run those workshops because I felt that was important. Our chamber got involved in pride, and we caught some grief on that. But
Right.
that's important because you have to be in a chamber, you have to be an inclusive organization. And in order for Middletown to continue to go forward, it has to be an inclusive community. I learned that because if you're not inclusive and if you're not trying to help people out when they might need it, the community doesn't work.
No, and I agree. And again, it's the we before me. So, Larry, you know what? We're going to have to do another one of these because you've given so many words of wisdom. We're going to have to sit back and reflect. And now I've got two other questions for you. And one we never even wrote out for you. But is there a question I didn't ask that I should have asked?
Why did you retire?
Okay, why did you retire? But you haven't. You are still giving.
I was tired. No, I think that I retired because I always felt you had to have your A game as a coach and a chamber, or even with UConn, and especially UConn, you have to have an A+ game. And if it had gone down to an A- or whatever it is, time to get out. Because I think as we get older, we tend to say that we can hang in there and do a lot of stuff. Now, we can still do a lot of stuff, but there's so much stuff that has to get done that you have to just sit back and say, okay, it's time to get out, and then pick a few things like the community foundation, workforce boards that you really like and really think are doing a great job to put your volunteer time in. And that was it. It was like when I got out of coaching, people came like, "What are you, crazy? You're winning all these football games and everything like that." I said, "Time to go," and I think that's it. And
No,
I think that a couple of things I just want to close with that. When we first started the chamber and it was in bad shape, we started saying we're on the move. Then, when we were doing really, really good, the sun always shines on Middlesex County.
Right.
When I was in coaching, was we never lose. We just run out of time. So basically, all of that stuff are these little quotes that I've had all my whole life.
Oh my gosh, your words of wisdom are absolutely great. So now that you have I'm going to say I am so honored that you are on our board, because I will tell you what, Larry, we cover a lot in our board meetings, and you always can synthesize the conversation and really bring any conversation back to what's good for everybody, not just me or not just one entity. So thank you for that. And thank you for sharing your words of wisdom and your expertise with us. So what are you looking forward to in the next month or so?
The next month or so, there's a lot of functions. This May is crazy, as you know.
Yes.
So last week, I think I was out every night. This week, I'm out every night, going to different functions. They're end of the year stuff and award stuff. But kind of just continue to what I'm doing. I work out, try to work out 5-6 days a week, going down to even area to be with my sister. We lost her husband, and to do more things with the grandkids and stuff like that. So I have got plenty of stuff to do.
You've got a full life.
Right.
Larry McHugh, you are my rock star, and I can't thank you enough for all that you have done, continue to do, and will do for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Cynthia, for being you.
Oh, well, thank you.
A great person. Have a great day.
Right back at you.
Okay, great.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Meaningful Mondays. At the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, we know that philanthropy matters and philanthropy works. Together, we support the arts, education, human services, animal welfare, the environment, heritage enhancements, and so much more by providing services, programs, and grants to our local nonprofits. We invite you to learn more and share your passion with us. Visit us at Middlesex County CF.org or contact us at 860-347-0025. Together, we can make great things happen.